Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. We're bringing ML Bruin on for another episode of Onward and Upward, where we dive in monthly, really, on anything me and ML want to talk about. But we've been going through his book series currently, which we're going to get further into. And just a quick update for those that haven't caught the entire series, we've covered so far in this series ML's first book, which was a nonfiction, and then we got a bit into his process on how he created his second book, which is his first fiction book that he's written, and it's an illustrated book as well. So we'll get further into that. We got into his process, some other things, and today we're picking up the conversation where we left off. So, ML, man, it's good to see you. We're back.
You too, Adam. Always a pleasure and a fun time when we do this. So great to talk to
Um,
you again.
man, so last night I was on a red eye coming back to from New York. So I flew out on Monday
Oh
night, took a
man.
red eye to New York, and I was there covering iConnections Global Alts on Tuesday, like half a Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I was leaving the city as early as possible. I was in a taxi by 4 p.m. and I watched that Knicks game on the plane, the entire plane.
Oh,
Well, it had the game, of course. So ABC, I think it
crazy.
was. The entire plane was watching it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the tension on the plane?
Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you got good Wi-Fi connection. It wasn't interrupted.
It was, oh my gosh. I thank you. I didn't even think about that. It was not interrupted the entire time, the entire
Wow.
game, every second of the game played. It was all live, like all live.
Uh,
Like when they won, you couldn't, I mean, the tension for them to be down, what, almost 30 or something like that.
yeah,
And it was
20, I
like,
think it was 29.
yeah, there you go. It was
Crazy.
the biggest comeback ever. Can you
Yeah.
like these? I
No.
saw there were different points in time. I'm going to tell you something. This does relate back to back to your books and back to our but I was thinking about the connection and I was like, what does it take for someone to stick with a series, to stick with a content, to stick with an idea, even though you may not see the results immediately? But I was thinking about those Knicks, and I'm like, man, like they were down for so much for so long, and as it got bigger and bigger, and you'd see the people that were watching the game, you could tell who the
Hmm.
diehard fans were because I'm nosy, so I'm
Yeah.
looking around, and I like to see
Yeah.
what people are looking at.
Yeah.
So I could see when people shut the game off.
Hmm.
And then when everybody got loud again, they turned it back on. Like people just started putting on movies. Like they were depressed, they were down.
Yep.
And I was like, these are I don't want to say quitters, but they're the fair weather fans or the others. And the people that were like sticking with it,
Hmm.
man, I swear that entire thing, some of those people, their faces were like, I don't know, 12 inches from the seat screen. Like they're leaning forward in their seat, man.
Now, I need to ask, did the plane erupt when the Knicks won, or was it mixed or
It was like you were in a bar. It was
wow.
crazy. Not, I mean, people
Wow.
weren't jumping out of their seats like a
Right.
bar, let's say, and I don't think people were quite as inebriated as in a bar,
Hmm.
but and the ones that were really sad were depressed,
Yeah.
probably and sleeping drunk already because they
Because you
just
could feel it. You could feel the comeback. I think when it got to 15, because I must admit, being a lifelong Celtics fan, it's hard for me to root for the Knicks, although
yeah.
their players, I really respect their players, especially Brunson. But when it
Mm,
got to 15, that's when I said, oh no, here it comes. But the way I
mm.
never would have suspected that ending. It was just not, and so many. I was watching some highlights this morning and so many different pieces of it and parts of the game that could have gone the other way
Oh
and didn't.
yeah.
It's insane how that ended. It was
Yeah, especially
amazing.
when he missed that shot. It was
Un
like how, oh, not how. I mean, we've all played Little League or, little when we're kids
right.
playing and we're like, how did I miss an open shot to
I
have
know.
that feeling though in front of the entire world? I don't even, thank
Crazy. I
God
know.
they
The
won. Like
the pressure, I can't imagine it. And these kids are so young. I mean, San Antonio, their stars are what, 22 and under, the three of them or something.
babies,
Insane.
babies.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have folded like a cheap suit if I that was me when I was 22.
I'll
in
tell
front of
you.
millions of
I'll tell
people.
you the funny thing to me was after they won, so New York, so LA goes back to just the way it works. After they won, I'm not kidding you. I feel like I was trying to gauge the amount of time. I think 80% of the time after, nah, I might be exaggerating. Let's call it 75% of the time. The camera crew was spending time not on the players that just
I know.
won the game, but all the celebrities on the
I
court, like
know. I know.
Seinfeld and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, guys. Like
Same.
you can't like this is their moment.
Yeah.
They just pulled off an insane thing. And I mean, I love Taylor Swift, all the people that I saw. I love every single star they showed me. But I'm like, how are you gonna get like they didn't play? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Like
Yeah.
so,
I have an issue with that as well. Just show the game and the players. And yeah, I did like the
yeah.
look on one of my favorite actors of all time, Jerry Seinfeld. It's like he couldn't get out of,
When he
he was
was
still
like,
in
what?
shock. Somebody
What?
help that
Yeah.
man. He's in shock.
Yeah, so I mean and again I liked everybody they showed on camera, but I'm like I realized after the fact and I'm like I didn't see any of the player reactions.
No, you're
Like they
right.
used to do
You're
player
absolutely right.
reactions because they actually played the game.
And a crazy game it was too. Yeah.
Oh man.
Unbelievable.
Oh, what a good one.
That was one for the all time.
I remember
That'll go
that
down in the annals.
being on a
Yeah.
plane watching that with a bunch of like the whole, I feel like the pilots must not have cared and or they cared, but they were being super, I don't, am I allowed, is it bipartisan or they're being not, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were,
Yeah.
they were towing the line because I was like, how, they probably didn't want it to get crazy and they were a little
Right.
worried because they're also flying during like, who knows if somebody, who knows, but
Yeah.
any little thing, like, so they probably had some other nerves, but I thought there was going to be an announcement or something else. And I'm like, no, they're responsible for a lot of lives.
Right.
They're worried. If it would have been me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, did you guys see that on the PA? You're like, no, don't rile them up, Adam. No, this is not a podcast episode. It's
Exactly.
okay.
How'd you sleep on that red eye after that result?
Oh man, no, I'm fine on planes.
Not
I love
much.
it. I
Yeah.
love it. Nobody can bother me.
Nice.
I'm
Yeah.
hidden. Sorry,
That's
no
true.
Wi-Fi.
That's
It
a good
doesn't
point.
work. Whatever, it doesn't. My
It's great
team.
when it works. I've had issues, but one time I took a work trip. It was one of my trips to Japan, and it was a fall
Oh, that's a long one.
Saturday, and it's a long one. And but that day and the Wi-Fi was never interrupted. Shout
Oh.
out to Japan Air. I watched a local college football game for
Yeah.
part of it. Then I watched it was Notre Dame football game, and then it was during the World Series, so I watched the World Series. I can't
Oh,
sleep on a
wow.
plane, especially at night. So I was able to watch three and a half different games. So that really took up a lot of my trip with
Dang.
uninterrupted. It was great. It was great.
Yeah. No, this was
Less painful anyway. That's a long trip.
Oh, I don't. It's all good. It's all good. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's get into some of your work today. So, to
All
catch
right.
us up for everybody that's listening, it was the Noah series, what we were talking about. So now we've been kind of going through kind of brick by brick what ML took to build what he's publishing and also what he's been writing and his process as well. So, from my notes, the last thing where we left off was we were on your second book, but the first book in the Noah series. Is that right?
It's the third book. The first book in the Noah series is my first children's book. I wrote the two
Yes.
books, the Who Taught Who about raising the children, and then the
Oh, that's
second
right. You
book
had two
was the guide for
nonfiction. Yeah,
navigating. That's okay.
yeah.
That's all right. We've talked about a lot, and then we digress, which is fun. So that's all good. It's all good.
All right. So ML, how does this relate to writing the Knicks? No.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
How you
I'm
like
still,
that transition, baby?
I'm still trying to get over that it's not the Celtics. So yeah, it'll
I
take me a
know,
minute to
I know, I
get
know.
into it.
Come on, get your head back in the game. Noah, Noah.
Yeah.
Oh, so last time we were getting into your process and what it looked like. So I'm curious as we kind of wrapped up, well, third book, second or first in the nonfiction or fiction,
hmm
excuse me, category. Did you know immediately when you were done with that there was going to be another one? Like, did you kind of have a feeling?
I did. Nobody's asked me that, but yeah, that's a good question. I did.
Why are you always
And
wait a minute, hold on. Why are you always surprised that I ask you good questions?
no,
Let's start there.
I probably
Last
shouldn't.
episode you
I
said
should.
the same
I
thing. Do
probably
you
shouldn't treat
listen
the
to the
host like
show?
that, should I? I probably shouldn't treat
Do
the
you
host
even
like that.
listen to the podcast, ML? Come on, man. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. Okay. Another fine question, Adam. I did. It was so fun doing it, and the first book really came easily. I think I told you
hmm
where the concept came from, Noah and the Shark. Well, we were in a Hobby Lobby one day and we're in the toy section, of course. And I said, we saw a toy shark and I said, wow, I was fascinated by sharks growing up, read a lot about them, drew shark pictures and I said, let's get him a shark among the other toys. So we got him a shark and he was only months, so his eyes lit up when he saw it. And from then on, he kept it with him everywhere. It was his security, and it was kind of funny. And actually, it was my wife one day who said, "Hey, you want to write books?" I had all these other ideas. I still do, but she's like, "There's your first book, Noah and the Shark." I said, "That's brilliant." And it really flowed pretty easily. So to start finally answering your question, I did. It was so much fun to do. Then as I was writing this, I had other ideas come up in my head that I want to write. I want all my books to have positive messages. The illustrations are really bright. I think the illustrator does a great job and fun to read. I want kids to have fun reading and not view it as a chore. I've mentioned that before. So yeah, I wanted to continue writing and it was very clear to me early on. Definitely, I want to keep moving forward.
Was it a moment or was it a progression? Like, because you're making a commitment. So are you like,
Right.
all right, what point in creating the book? Because I'll tell you from my end, when I'm doing a book, when I'm like a couple pages in, I'm like, I'm never doing another book. Like, I don't get that feeling. I'm like, please, God, don't give me another idea that I feel needs to be brought into the world.
I don't
Like that's
I don't
my
get to that
normal
point.
feeling. So at what
That's
point,
funny.
how are
Yeah.
you blessed? And at what point are you like, yeah,
Uh,
this has to happen.
yeah, I think things strike me. It's not a progression. Things strike me. In fact, I was thinking about this very topic about how things just occur to me or strike me, as I say, was the fourth book that's coming out. We'll talk about that eventually, but it's coming out soon. Noah's Christmas Wish. Because with that one, my youngest daughter and her husband and my wife have been saying for a while, you need a Christmas book. You need a Christmas book. Well, I've been thinking and thinking months and months and nothing. And literally, Adam, one day it pops into my head. That's a brilliant idea. This idea comes to me. So sometimes things have to hit me over the head, you know? That's not in this case, it wasn't a progression at all.
And so for the idea, how'd the idea talk to me about your like was you weren't done with the first Noah book when you knew you were going to do the second one, it was just a feeling, is that right? But you didn't have the concept, the idea, did you know
I,
or did you?
I did have a general idea. I had a general idea of the next two books, actually. So, and when I had these ideas, I think we talked about this initially. I jot down in bullet forms what my ideas are because I'll forget about it. So when I come back to it, so I had the idea for the next two books. And again, positive kind of fun messages. And that's how the second book and actually third book is a little more about messaging and how to do the right thing. But yeah, they come to me, and as they come to me, the different ideas, I'll kind of put them in a bulletized format. Yeah.
So let's get into the next one. So
Okay.
the first one's out. You start actually wait a minute before we get into the next one. What were you doing about promo? How was it received? Because you've done a couple of obviously the nonfiction. So this is your second time where you're like, okay, I got a series. Like, where are
Yeah.
you at on promo at this point? Because a
I,
lot of authors struggle with that. A lot of people are like, what do I do
yeah.
next? And they crank out the books. Where are you at on promo?
I still do somewhat, but I was able to find an agent who helps me with a lot of things and advice and actually gets me the readings at the bookstores and various events because what I found here in the Northeast is that they didn't really want to talk to me. You have an agent, have your agent contact me. Then they set up the book signings and the promos. So yeah, it was very well received, the first book. So I submitted it a while back. Bookfest, National Bookfest Award winner. So Noah and the Shark got an award. So I was pretty proud of that. And things like that encouraged me. Okay, people like the book because it's all about, do the kids like the book? And parents willing to purchase it because they'll just skim it and look at the book cover. And it's actually was pretty well received. So that encouraged me to keep going.
Man, that's great. Go into the story. So get a little bit into the story of like where we're at in the narrative of Noah.
Okay. Noah and the Shark, the first one or onto the second one? Okay.
No, both, because we didn't do that in the last one. So I want to give a little bit of the narrative too. We don't got to spoil it at all. I want people to pick it up, but I want to give them a piece of the narrative too.
Awesome. Noah and the Shark is about this young, happy boy who lives down by the ocean with his parents, and he loves the outdoors and the wildlife. And he goes down to sit on his dock every day, and he watches the boats and he fishes, and he checks out the wildlife. Well, one day he's down there and he spies a lost shark. And first he's kind of scared. And the shark comes up and asks for directions. Anyway, they become fast friends. And it's all written in rhyming pattern, by the way, which takes
Mm-hmm.
so very long. But yeah, it's a fun pattern. So anyway, the shark, people don't believe Noah has a shark friend and his friends, even his family, and that troubles him. But the shark teaches him that only the truth matters. And at the end of the book, actually, his family and friends discover the real truth and believe him, and all ends well. But it's really about his little struggle with people don't believe him, but stick to your guns and
Mm-hmm.
keep moving on, and it all ends well. That's the first book. That's Noah and the Shark.
Mm-hmm.
And the second book, and by the way, the shark's name is Ronnie. And what I do is for each book, he makes a little appearance in a different scene. And so what we do at the readings in the bookstores is the kids that are there, we have a little board set up and we say, when you see, pay attention, and you'll see Ronnie appear in these other books. And then we have a little activity. They can come up, and my wife put it together and come up and put the shark on the board next to Noah, keeps them engaged. And so anyway, in the second book, it's called Noah's Summer Adventures. And this book is simply about what he does throughout his summer vacation. He travels a little bit. He plays a lot. He goes to a farm, but the key is he's really realizing how fun life is through a child's view with simple things, just spending time with family and friends. And again, it's written in a fun rhyming pattern, bright pictures in all different situations. And what I like to do for fun, Adam, is besides plopping Ronnie into a scene or two, Ronnie the Shark, is there are things that are really happening in his life are in the book. So we pop real things or little subtle messages that my family can see. So it's kind of been fun that way. And like, for instance, Noah's Summer Adventures, he was a ring bearer in our daughter's wedding.
Oh,
and
cool.
So there's a piece about that. Yeah. And hopefully he thinks this is cool. He's at the age now, he acts like he's 7, but he's younger than that. But he loves these books. He always has them in front of him. And hopefully he thinks this is cool, because I think I told you my plan is to, after this 4th book, I'm going to wait until I work with Noah. I'm going to have him tell me, what does he want the next books to be about? What should we write about? And have him really work with me and learn and have fun that way. So that's my ultimate plan with this.
So learnings from book 1 to book 2. Talk to me about that, because at this point, was it a little bit more? I don't want to say systematized, because obviously each book's going to be different. Each one's its own creation. But now you've been in the seat for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but between books, I absolutely learn things. And from book to book, little things. I should have done this. Maybe I'll do this. I'll do that. Make the pictures even more vibrant. Take out some of the bigger words. Our oldest is actually a school teacher, so she has fantastic input from the kids too, as well, and ideas. So yes, I learned to think more, even though it's obvious, right? Who is my audience, right? It's the kids.
I don't think it's obvious, though. I'm not going to necessarily agree with that statement.
Okay. All right. To other people besides me, it might be more obvious, I guess, is that you want the parents to be attracted to the book cover and contents, obviously, and have them be struck by how the book looks and things like that. But the kids and the story, so being interested. So things like I may have used, because it's very hard. It's very, very hard to rhyme the words. And I spend weeks sometimes on actually it's 2 sentences, trying to get them to rhyme. And then it kind of comes to me. Well, sometimes the word has to be a little more complicated than what I want, actually. So I'll rework it again. So trying to think more book to book, what makes it more appealing, making sure I'm delivering, even though these are short books, right? Making sure I'm delivering the message I want, and that is clear, and I'm not rambling. And I've taken pages out, and I'd said before many times in many of the book, I don't even need this page. Why is it even in here?
Interesting.
It doesn't flow well. I don't like how it sounds. Yeah, I'm making edits, right? Maybe all authors do this. I'm making edits to the last second, even when I've gone over it 500 times, page by page, word by word, picture by picture. I don't like that. That's not what I wanted. I missed that before. So did that answer your question at all?
It does. And I'm thinking about that thought process of, like, I also think that, like, when you say, like, you're learning new things, it's not just about the like book or like the format of that. To me, it's just like a show in a way. So you're also living life, right? You're living life.
Yeah.
So as you
That's
live
great.
life, you get new insights, you get new like just external forces, pressures, moments of inspiration, creativity, whatever, and your lens is always kind of changing. So how can that like not affect your work?
No, that's well said. Absolutely right. Yeah, this is life.
Mm-hmm.
We're all human beings. Exactly.
And
We
part of
change our
yours just happens
perspectives.
to be
Yeah,
expressed through a shark, which I think
exactly.
is pretty
Hey,
cool. I think it's cool.
all right. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm thinking about it. So now you got when you get to this through with the second book, what's the feeling there? Now, I know from one getting from obviously one to two, but now you already knew based on what you said a moment ago that you're gonna have four.
Right.
What's the feeling there like when you're getting done with that second one?
There's a lot of relief. And like you said, you, I'm not quite to the point where I don't want to write another book, but I definitely need a mental break. And
Mm,
that's where it's very helpful, where we focus a lot on the book signings and the events, because writing, I need a creative break. So yes, it's usually many months until at least a handful of months before I even start that next book. Even if I know I want it to be about, I need to just chill my brain with the writing
mm,
process. And now, okay, we'll go out to the public and we'll start showing the book and reading it and things like that.
mm,
So there's a big sense of relief, and there's a sense of I need a break. I need a mental break from writing.
mm.
And part of that,
How
and
do
we'll
you
talk,
how do you get your mental break when you're done? What do you do?
I don't even think about writing another book.
Can you just shut it off? You can shut it off?
Yes, yeah, I can. I
Oh
can.
wow. Oh.
Maybe it's because they're
I
children's
can.
books,
I'm like,
but
man, that's a podcast episode. Dang it.
yeah.
I was so close to it was late at night. It was late, but after that Knicks game, I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
should I do an episode right now? And then I'm like, Adam,
Oh,
is
that would have
if
been
it
interesting. I'd
I
listen to
know,
that.
but if it wasn't like, at what point do I
Yeah,
like? Once I
I
was
hear
sitting
you.
next to this gentleman. I was on my way to Washington D.C. and he was definitely older, like I approaching 100 if he wasn't 100 for sure. And he was right
Oh,
next to me. And I noticed he had military, like whatever. And he had some military uniform, not like full uniform, but like a hat and other things like that. And I'm like, oh, this guy
hmm.
was in D-Day for sure. Like he was definitely
Wow.
a. And so I was like, no, I don't want to bother him. Like he's, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's up there in age. He wants to
yeah.
relax. He's going to DC, who knows for what. And then it comes, then we stand up at the end of the plane ride, and the guy next to him, like just randomly in the aisle, says, "Oh, here you go, John." Oh, he's like, "Oh, and thank you for your service." And then he asked the question, "Were you in D-Day?" And the guy just lit up, and he was talking, and he was just
Oh,
such a friendly. And I was sitting there thinking, man, that was a podcast episode. I should have just asked the question. I knew I wanted to ask it, and then
yeah,
I was thinking maybe people were going to be annoyed because we're talking. And I knew once he
yeah.
got started, it was going to be a conversation. We'd have been a 2 hour interview, whatever,
Wow.
or whatever it takes. I
Yeah.
think I was going from Miami to DC on this particular flight. And then he was talking about it, but he wanted to talk about it. And then come to find out, why was he in DC? He was being decorated. Well, that would
Oh,
have been
well,
I
come
know,
on.
missed
Yeah.
opportunity. And I'm like,
Wow.
so on this one, I had that in my head, and I'm like, do I need to like do a podcast episode? And then I'm like, no, Adam, this plain one is different. Okay, it's a red eye, and
Man,
people want to sleep.
you have more interesting plane rides than I do. Wow, fascinating.
I was like, come on, whatever.
So it's harder for you to shut it off, huh?
No,
You
I
always,
can't. It's not. I'm
oh,
like,
yeah,
if I have a really interesting conversation and it's not being recorded, I feel like it's a waste because my audience doesn't get to hear it. I feel bad. I'm
okay.
not bad, but
Yeah.
I feel like, man, this would have been. And I know that if I invite that person on the show afterwards, it'll never be the
Oh,
same. No, it just
okay.
doesn't work. Because
Interesting.
I already know the information. It's like if you were to like let me try and do a really horrible comparison to writing a book. If you knew everything you wanted to say and you have this moment of inspiration to write your book, and you don't write down those ideas or whatever your process is for the format or anything else, and you say, oh, you know what, I'm not going to write that down right now, those couple of 2 to 3 good ideas I had that are going to be the core of it, I'm going to, because I'm in my not writing phase, and then you say I'll
Right.
come back to it in a month, it'll never be the
Nope.
same.
No, exactly right. That's a great analogy. No, you're right.
Oh, it worked.
I'm sunk.
I was pulling, but I
No,
feel it. Yeah.
no, yeah. Because no, that's perfect. As I said, things come to me. Sometimes
Yeah.
we'll just be doing something, and so I guess maybe I don't totally shut it off. But if an idea
Mm.
comes to me, oh, I open up my notebook and put it right in because
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
It'll never be the same. I'll forget about it and it won't be in the same context that I thought
yeah.
about it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I will say, Emma,
stuff.
you're part of the reason. You don't even know this, but I am writing another book and I didn't even want to do it, but I gotta do it. So it's a continuation of the last one
I
and
love
it's
it.
just I don't know, but it's gonna be good. But
I just don't know how you do it in all your spare time.
what you just
Everything
now
you
said,
do.
the idea and the way my process works is I can't get the freaking idea out of my head.
Okay.
It's stuck. I'm like, no, we don't need to do that, God. It's fine. That's my
Yeah.
conversation with him. And then he puts it right back. He's like, no, we do.
Hey, amazing how that happens, huh?
No,
Amazing
we
how that
don't. Yeah,
happens.
we
Yeah.
do. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Where's the we here? You're gonna make me do the work.
Exactly right. Yeah.
That's my conversation with
I
God
like
right
it.
there.
I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Oh my
Awesome.
gosh.
Good
Yes.
stuff.
Well, Amel, this has been, man, always great having you on and catching up and
Blast.
getting further into your process of your series. And just like we can call this a commemorative edition. We'll see what happens on the next episode. But
Love it.
that being said, people want to follow up, they want to connect, they want to pick up the Noah series, any of your other books, and follow you. How do they do that?
Great. Thanks, Adam. My website, mlbruin, BRUIN.com, talks about where you can get my books, what I'm working on, and what's coming out, etc. Instagram is mlbruin, BRUIN, and Facebook is mlbruin-author. And yeah, thanks for having me, Adam. And it's always a blast, man. My books are sold everywhere you find books in the big bookstores online, so you can check it out on my
Awesome.
website.
Perfect. For everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put the links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and go check out ML's work, of course. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. You know what that means. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And ML, looking forward to our next edition of Onward and Upward and digging further into the series. Let's have some fun.
You bet. Can't wait.